Real work. Dark green, agreed. Typing is so passe. Time to return to fine writing achievements. We need dictation to be a thing. Like, we seriously need better dictation. Technology emphasis on dick. Can we please make that happen? Okay, what is this layout again? I'm lost. Where does this go? Caps lock? I think maybe, can this go here? Maybe I'll put this here. I think I'll put this here. Is that okay? And maybe this can go here, right? And you know what will go here? I know the perfect. I know what goes here. 69. Bam. This is literally the perfect fucking layout right here. You can't tell me that this is the incorrect layout. I don't care if the fucking rows are not the whatever the fucking row height, whatever the fuck keycaps call it. Keycaps have different rows. They're very diverse. Okay, diversity, equity, inclusion. The most important thing to me, I'm all about being included. Okay. All right, this is what it looks like. 69 right there. Most important keys right there. You have to have it right on the tip of your fingers, okay? Oh, God. Oh, no. I'm fucked. I kind of want this to... I want to practice this to be my daily. We need to do a typing test poll, actually. Wait, typing test prediction. It can't be 120. Should it? Okay, wait, hold on. I'm going to change this. It has to be words per minute, and it'll be... What about 80? 80 or more, or 79 and less. Honestly, I think that's gonna be... Wait. Yeah, wait. Not 120. No, wait. I'm definitely not getting 120. We need to do 80. Wait, can we end it? Can we end it? Okay, I wanted to change it to 30 something. There's no way I'm getting 120 on this. How do I end this prediction? We need to end this. Oh, God. Can I end it? Oh, delete. Sorry, we have to delete. I have to change it. Okay. I gotta change it. There's no way I'm getting 120. We have to change, okay. We have to change it to 80. 80 and 79. Okay. There's no way. This makes it more fun and interesting. Is that a problem? Can I not be an interesting fucking person? Can I not be an interesting fucking person? Is that such a fucking crime? Do you have to typecast me? Gay Asian female, angry Asian female? That's curvy. I need a react to this. Excuse me? LMFAO, grunt fart? I'm farting? Sounds, no context. HK boobs? I have to get a cable to connect this. I don't have it. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Give me a few seconds. I need to connect. Hold on. Okay. Let me see. Oh my God. Okay. I gotta connect this. This looks like a shit cable. Bread Roll is here. Hello. How are you, Bread Roll? How's it going, bestie? I hope you're doing well. Okay, this is just an Apple cable. Looks like shit. I hope this works. This better fucking work. Oh my God. What if it doesn't work? What if this keyboard doesn't even work? Oh, it's working. Oh shit, it actually works. This is backspace. Oh, I'm so fucked. Is this space? I'm so fucked. Why is this K? Wait, did I? Is this not the fucking layout? What? Wait. AS. Wait. Hold up, I gotta move all the keys over one row? Oh, I'm so fucked. This is you? Can I just remap this whole thing? I'm gonna remap this. I don't want to change out the keys, you know? Via? Oh God. Okay, watch me struggle. Watch me whip, watch me nay-nay, okay? Uh-huh. Thank you for the shout out, brother. I'm studying, want to bang my head against the wall. I would like to be involved in the banging, but not against the wall. Well, I would love to be banged against the wall, actually. But in like a sexy way. Should I like tie this up? Should I tie this up? Do I have a little clip or something? I want to tie this up. I want to tie it up. I need a little clip to tie it. Okay, I can't tie it. Maybe can I grab this like solder wire and like here. This little solder wire. Okay. And I'm gonna tie it. Perfect. Look. DIY right there. This is literally beautiful and perfect. I've never seen a more beautiful thing. What am I doing? Nine, have you been? Hello, yee. I have been doing so well. Never been better in my entire life, as you can see by how stable I am. I'm very stable. Okay, how are you, yee? Typing test prediction is still up. I'm gonna read chat. Hello, yee. Hello, Randall. I brought you sandals, candles, and a handle of Jack Daniels. I don't drink. Well, I sometimes drink. Is that okay? I have a little fun. I get a little frisky. I'm allowed to get a little frisky. Jason's. Okay, let me download this JSON. Let me download this JSON file. All right, we're loading this JSON. Is it working? Paired, connect. Why is this JSON not loading? Load. Okay, we're loading. Omega loaded. Okay, alter. Configure. Okay, I need to... Wait. I had this in the right layout. I had this in the fucking right... Oh. Wait, what? No, I don't have this in the right layout. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta move... Okay, Okay, gotta be ASD... Okay, you wanna see what I'm doing? ASDF... QWERTY. No, oh god, Z. Does this go here? ZXCV. And the B goes here. Oh god, HJKL, and then this is YUI. I'm so fucked. HJKL and then NM. Oh god, is this right? ASDF QWERTY. Okay, I'm fucked. Should I put this as Y? No. Okay, fuck it. Cunty. Should I change this as cunt? Should I do like the Vorak or whatever? Colmac. Nova Meetup was chill. Arlington, VA. Love it. Shout out to our vets. Shout out to the Veteran Affairs. Arlington Veteran Affairs. Okay. Bathrobe. Hello, Christina. Hope everyone's having a good day. I'm having a lovely day. You know, I'm on the verge of a mental breakdown, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm perfectly fine. Bathrobe. Toronto is way bigger. Rue makes rules. Yes, you all are my rubies. ROOBISE. Rue bitches. Okay. Or actually, didn't we call y'all like sounders or something? I think I called y'all sounders, my fan base. Are there novelties? Can we use novelties? We don't have novelties, okay? I'm cruel, but I'm not that cruel. I'm not that cruel to Insta, okay? Toronto. I don't know how many people were at Toronto. Clipped and shipped, submitted to evidence, character evidence. Diddy fans in shambles. Oh, listen. I just cannot believe that video of him beating that poor woman was released just now, and it happened like years ago. That's crazy. What's that Avo Riz? What is he doing here? The Altair 3D keycap, yes! Yes, yes. This is the Altair. There's a fucking, I swear to God, there's a fucking Pokemon called Altair. Can someone find me the fucking Pokemon? There's a Pokemon. Hold on, I'm like practicing. How does this work? Pokemon? Altair? How do I fucking press enter? How do I press enter on this? Altair. Altaria is the Pokemon. This bitch. Look at this bitch. This is a fucking majestic. This bitch is in a cloud. Anyways, oh my god, song so cunty made her straight. Listen, there's some songs that make me feel like sucking dick. I'm not kidding. WAVE by IVE, also one of those songs. I swear. I've made that comment before while listening to that song. Attorney answers. Drake 1, feelings? Oh god, hydrate. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this typing test, okay? We're getting distracted. Okay, typing test. We're fucked, okay? This is a safe space. You can say it with your chest. Cunty, C*NTY cunty. All my cunties in here. I don't think that's what BBC stands for. I'm pretty sure BBC is bald by choice. He's like bald by choice. She said that so fast. You're right. It's so cunty. It made her straight. I like how like you spelled straight with an 8. Like it's like a slur or something with an 8. That's like censoring. You're like censored cunt. You censored cunty and you also censored straight. Magic hands is gonna look so good. Hi, cousin Lydia. Hello. Okay. We gotta make sure. Why is it so bright? Okay. The stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart. How the fuck do I fucking... Okay, I'm struggling with my mental health. Okay. Key tester? Did I already test everything? Does everything work? Okay, everything works, but we'll see. It doesn't really matter if it works since I'm throwing this anyway. Okay, where is it? Okay, it's not up. Okay, let's do it. It's happening. It's happening, folks. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. Okay, we're fucked. This is the Altair from AI03 and Canon Keys. Well, actually, I don't know if Canon Keys help him. Well, I don't know. Maybe just by AI03 and Canon Keys is the vendor. I don't know. Anyway, Altair, not the Altair X. The Altair X is actually the smaller one, not the bigger one. I would have called the X the big one, but this is the Altair. We built it plateless, even though we're not supposed to. Again, the keys are kind of wobbly, but we're going to do a rebuild with a plate, with a PC plate. And this is Frostwitch, and then we have green jackets on here by KMS Keys. They're on sale. I'm obligated to say that, or else the Key Circle's going to watch the VOD, and if I don't shield KMS Keys, he's going to, he's going to KHS. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, here we go. Oh, fuck, what happened? Okay, what happened?
Thanks
oh my god, he's here. Okay, let's not talk to him. Let's ignore him. Okay. Oh. 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 Oh my god! Test invalid! Do y'all see? Test invalid accuracy, bro! Okay, this is just embarrassing. Cut the tapes. Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. Cut the fucking cameras. This is not a fucking joke. You think, monkey type, you think it's a fucking joke? Okay, this is fucked. I personally think I deserve a redo. I deserve a boo-boo. Is this a trial run? I'm pretty sure even if I do it again, I'm not gonna get over 80. I'm fucked, okay. Okay, wait, I can't even, okay, where are the keys? If I really try, let me like really try. Where the fuck is the B? The B is on the other side. How? Oh my goodness. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, this is a tab? Oh, I just started over. Oh my god, okay. Here we go, this is serious. Oh, fuck. I'm speed. I'm speed. I'm speed. I'm speed. 40 words per minute. It's iconic. I honestly, like, I'm an icon. It's never been done before. And I am, the godmother of keyboards. I'm the god lesbian. Just call me a lesbian god, okay? Okay? Is that okay? We did it, Joe. It sounds good. Look at that. This can be a gaming keyboard, Amazing, amazing. Big fan, huge. Oh. Okay, anyway, we're gonna rebuild this. And I think it's really the switches. I think the switches fucked me over, okay? And I think the lack of a plate fucked me over. So we're actually gonna build with a plate this time, imagine. And we're gonna try some blank keycaps, okay? Look at this. You wanna see? Look at this. Rebuild so fast. We're so fast. Okay. Anyway, space grade dictation. Dictatio is like a fucking, what do you call it? Dictatio? My girlfriend left me for a guy with a BBC. She was referring to his head. Yes. When you look at the category BBC, did you get a Neo Ergo? I didn't. I'm not clouded enough. I'm not clouded enough. Can everyone mass email them and protest? No, I did not get a Neo Ergo. I wish. Maybe Patty will let me build hers. We'll see. I am merely her. I live in her shadow. I'm just kidding. She's great. Typing test. Oh, wait, what's happening? They just messaged me. Oh, you can hold escape and plug. Oh, okay. Is Upa's watching? I'm scared. I'm like scared if you're watching. Can you not watch? I'm afraid you're judging me. Okay, I don't think you're watching. Okay, good. Okay. I don't want him to watch. It scares me. He scares me. Okay, what's happening? Type test gonna be a bloodbath. Dick emphasis on oh shit skills. Under 90 words per minute. It's definitely. Okay, next typing test we're gonna do under 40 or over 40. Okay? And then we're actually gonna use a fucking plate this time. Is that okay? Is it okay if we use a plate on this keyboard? This is a Haimu Pastel Sand. Okay. Okay, Haimu Pastel Sand. We love it. I love it. Okay, it makes sense. 3D. Is purple your favorite color? Purple is not my favorite color. I think my favorites are like navy and like maroon and like olive green. I really like dark colors because I'm a dark person, as you can tell. But Brian, welcome in. Hello, Brian. How are you? My favorite bisexual violinist. Okay, prediction, get your gamba. I'm in. I suck at it. I don't have a 69 keyboard. 69 keyboard. Yes. You gotta 69 it. You gotta 69. Wham bam 69. You can't change the rules, Donald. Call me Donald. Listen, I never touched. Well, no, he did touch her. Stormy. I can't believe Travis Scott and Kylie Jenner named their kid Stormy. And this was after the whole Stormy Daniels stuff. I don't even... Anyway, anyone following the trial? Because I'm not. I don't know what's happening. The future of this country? I couldn't give less of a shit. End it and refund. Purple is your favorite color, then you're bisexual. If your hair is purple, then you're mentally ill. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that delayed. If I can't take a couple colors to get... It can take a couple... to get used to the layout. Okay, I bet it's actually really comfortable, but unfortunately, I really want, what I want to learn? Fucking stenography. Is that what it's called? Like court stenographers? I want to learn stenography. I think if I learn stenography, like, it's over for you. It's over for you bitches, Add 300. Mr. Star Dollars, hello, how are you? Star Dollars, 80 or more might be cooked. I thought this was wireless. No, unfortunately, it's not wireless. Okay, listen. We live in 2024, Phoebe, not 2050. Okay, where do you think technology is? We'd be living in 30... I didn't even read your comment. Yes, we'd be living in 30... We'd be living in 3050 if it was wireless. It would be cool if these connected wirelessly, though. But, you know, we're just plebs. We're just plebs. Sonography plus monkey type's gonna change the whole game. Listen, no, I think... Listen, we're all here. We're out here fucking... See, some of these 60-year-old court reporters can type faster than half of, like, all of you guys. Not just half of you guys. Like, they go hard. And their monkey type game is crazy. Their monkey game is crazy. Need a poll to see if she can find a cable. Rolling bet Apple cable defeated. Do all the keys work? I learned my lesson last time. They should all work. They should all work. But we're gonna use blank keycaps, okay? No remapping, just type. You'll need to look at the keys to type. You got this. All sales are final. There was a guy at a meetup that made cables for split keyboards into a ball. Yes, yes, I do remember Mr. Star Dollars. I remember that guy at the meetup. It was really cool because I think the Theseus, I'm gonna be building the Theseus 75, which is a split 75 keyboard. And I think that one also requires like a cable like this. Cable bondage? How is bondage like a banned term on the stream still? Like, what the hell? Wait, have you not seen a mirror? What do you mean? Cable shibari? Wait, a mirror? If that costs to get Frost Switch on a board, I'll gladly pay for it. Well, too bad. We're not voting. We're not voting this time. We're using blanks. If it makes it even harder, we're gonna use blanks this time, okay? Cunty, this layout for sure causes a mental breakdown. I'm about to... Listen, I don't need this keyboard to cause me a mental breakdown. I do it myself. I do it myself, okay? Who do you think I am? I don't need help. We're silly rabbits. You should be the rulers. The droolers? You're drooling we mean eating a woman? What? I never said I'd eat a woman. What are you talking about? All right, I'm gonna push all this to the side. All right, we're gonna use these blank keycaps. These nice PBT blank keycaps. Hashtag ad, hashtag sponsored. Okay. Nine, hope you're doing well. Hello, Unborn. I'm doing fantastic. You know, just about to put some blank keycaps on a fucking Ergo split board, you know. You know, just very mentally stable things to do. Okay. This actually looks kind of cool. I want to eat this. I actually want to eat this. Okay. Cunnilingus. Cunnilingus is like a spell. Anyone do Cunnilingus here? Cunnilingus? But hello, Unborn. Army Hammer is back. Army Hammer be fucking eating people, bro. Is it true that he ate people? Like, can anyone there can confirm that he was eating people? Do we have first-hand account reports of his eating people? Let's see. ¿Por qué no los dos? Let me cannibalize that coochie, aka eat your coochie. Is that okay? Is that okay for people to say? To cannibalize some coochie? Okay, I don't know if this is... Hold on. These are like... I think this goes here. F. And then this is like another one. This goes like here, right? Oh god, this is popping out. I love Altaria. She's my girl. Altaria's cunty. Feel like a boss, bitch. There's that fucking, feel like, what is that? Feel like, what is it? Feel like a femme queen. Yes, Pokemon. Feel like a femme queen. Is that the... Feel like a femme queen. What's that song that's like, feel like a NC, you should know. Feel like a and it's like the Pokemon, and it's like the gayest Pokemon. Is it feel like a femme queen? Pokemon Scarlet, feel like a femme queen? Is it this one? Which one's the one of the Pokemon serving cunt? And it's like a show. Oh, the Pokemon that served, this one. This one. Oh god, this is fucking loud. This is the cuntiest Pokemon. These are the gayest fucking... I love this. They're so cunt. What's what this one too? Part 3? There's so many parts. Alteria's not on here though. Where's Altaria? Articuno fucked my sheep. Hello, drink you thirsty hoe. You should play those songs during the meetup. This one, I should play this during the meetup. And there's also this one, legendary Pokemon, straight sex straight. These are cunt. Articuno is cunt. That kick, oh my god, they're serving cunt. Look at that. What about this one? Heterosexuality in this chat? No, Pokemon's for gays. Okay, Altair's X is the big one. Thanks for the support. How far behind am I? I'm 12 minutes, okay. More like Nine Eyes tears all her hairs trying to... This bitch really lurked till now. Talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. Bokeh Bob is here. Okay, this is really loud. Anyway, Electrode if you felt like a femme queen. What is this? What is this? What the fuck? Okay, okay. Anyway, putting on keycaps, okay? Accuracy don't count, only spit. Bokeh Bob, how are you? I'm so sorry. I'm like extremely behind. I'm very sorry. I'm sorry for everything that I've done ever. But yes, hello Bokeh Boober. Hello, shout out to Bokeh Boober, aka HMX King. HMX King right here. Why are there two curved ones? Hold up. I need these. I need these, okay? We should put some of these spacebar ones here. What are these? These are like... Does this go here? I think this goes here. Yeah, lose! Oh god! Oh fuck, what the fuck happened? What happened to the song? What the hell? Anyway. Two-player keyboard, ASMR. No, this could be a two-player keyboard, absolutely. For gaming, for gay men, all the gay men in chat, except for Insty, we don't claim him. Okay, the G in LGBT has an asterisk in it, and it says, excluding instigator. Because he's a fucking menace to society. He's a goddamn menace. We're going home tonight. Okay, I gotta rechat. This is too much. Okay, Celia? Hello, Celia? How does it feel? It feels extremely weird to type on this. I'm not used to it. Error, redo. I don't see it. Doubters. So haven't you used shit keycaps? Your mom is shit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry to your mom. I'm sure your mom is wonderful. I feel like your mom would like... Is your mom like homophobic? Actually, you know, this is too personal. We're talking about chill mode. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you, chill mode? Thank you for the follow. We're not chill at all here. I want to know everyone's coming out stories. Can we get intimate here? Can we get like serious for 1 second? Like, were you threatened to be kicked out of your home? I need to know. I need to know. Anyway, what's happening? Trial run, raw. Excuse me, we're doing it raw. Don't listen to Shoney's, he's a dumb poo-poo. I love the sexual tension between Emiphobia and Shoney's. It's like, honestly, one of my favorite things to witness. One of my favorite things, okay? We're not going home tonight. All right. This is, I'm fucked. Like, I'm not gonna be able to, I don't know what the fuck this. Up, down, round and round, hit the spot. Okay. We need another one of the middle. Where is it? We need one here. I think we might, are we missing one? Maybe this goes here. We can put that here. Is that okay? Is this like the most mentally ill keyboard? Like, what kind of mental illness would this keyboard be? I'm just kidding, it's not funny. Mental illness is not something to be joked about, okay? It's not something to joke about. We should not joke about it. Period. Period. Okay? Hated out invalid key results. No try. Ogre layouts are humbling us this week. I'm being humbled. I'm being humbled, okay? I'm a very humble being. I'm the most humble being of all the humble beings, okay? Listen, of all the humble people, I'm the most humble of all of them. Who got Neo Ergo with me? I got Type K, me. What? Kajita, I'm scared. Boost time was a no-brainer. Who got the Neo Ergo? Don't talk to me. I'm just kidding. I'm just, you know, I'm just saying stuff. I just be saying stuff. Look at this. This is gorgeous. This is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely amazing, beautiful, groundbreaking, never been done. Served cunt, served everything, okay? Tinted Alice gang, get the gray with copper. Can someone send it to me? Like, just gift it to me. Can someone gift me a keyboard? Okay, can I buy keyboards? Anyway, grew up with an ergonomic keyboard, not split, but shaped like a mountain. We're shaping like a mountain. Let's see. Why do I never learn? Gotta stop believing in Nai. I like the style. She got this. Exclamation protest. Maybe I believe in our Lord and Savior Nai. I'm just a Nugu hater. I'm a Nugu hater. I am the Nugu. All right, prediction time. Except we're changing it this time. Because we're fucked. We gotta do like 40. No, I think we gotta do like 35 because there's not even, and 34. 34 and 35 because I'm definitely fucked on this one. Imagine using a plate on a keyboard. True. I don't like purple, but I love Frost Switch. I do not believe that. Purple is the best color. Hello. Soundtrack, welcome in. Soundtrack Esquire, how are you? How's my favorite Nicki Minaj lover and Megan Thee Stallion hater? Can everyone attack Soundtrack? He likes Nicki Minaj. I'm just kidding. Deez and Keeves, Deez and Boba, welcome in. Hello. Dark Prez is also here. How are you, Deez and Keeves and Dark Prez? Hope you're all having a wonderful day, wonderful night, wonderful week, wonderful month, wonderful quarter, wonderful half quarter. What's a half quarter? An eighth? I meant a half year. What's a half year? A semi-year? A semi? Purple's the best color. True. I love it. Oh shit, gang. Oh, 3-stream streak. Thank you. Thank you for the 3-stream streak, Brian. Oh, I'm 15 minutes late. Oh god, I need to reuse this. 992 smooth brain. Use chopstick. Very true. I'm incredibly smooth brain. Okay. Stenography on monkey type. 10 to 20 minute. For the mode meetup, you mentioned that you would be their vendor's booth. How can we get those? Oh, did I mention that there was gonna be vendor booths? I don't think I mentioned that. I don't think there's gonna be vendor booths. I think I mentioned for the Texas keyboard meetup. I think mode probably just gonna be mode, right? I'm not sure though. Skill different Gigamod. My monkey type record is 78. Now I was able to achieve that number only once. I'm here slow as fuck. You gotta work out those fingers. Work those fingers, baby. Get those finger workouts in. Emo only, hashtag ad, hashtag cunning linguist. Oh, you're so funny, Insty. You're so fucking funny. You're the fucking funniest person. He's selling timeshares. What the fuck is it? Who's selling timeshares? Insty? That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Isn't that an unforgivable curse? 8, my butt cannibalism. I'll eat your ass. This design is cool. I want to lick this too. Should I lick it? Should I lick Alexander Otos's juice off of it? I want to serve cunt, but I feel like my style's a touch too basic. No, you can serve cunt. Brian, I've seen you. You can serve cunt. Anyone can serve cunt if they put their whole cunt into it. Okay? Let me do push-ups. Oh! Oh! Okay. Okay, we back. We back. Oh, God. Cunty Regirock with a handbag. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. The purple one with the lips. Which one is that one? The purple one with the lips? People, like, accuse it of being racist. What is it called? Should I just look up racist Pokemon? I'm 100% sure it's gonna come up. Which one is it? Jinx, of course, it's the first thing. Jinx is the purple one. I'm pretty sure people were saying it's racist, right? Critical response. Receive criticism. Yes. Honestly, she's kind of cunty. She's kind of serving cunt. Is that problematic for me to say? Oh, God. Haha, serve. Is this Pal World? These animals are gay as hell. Kajita, model walk, feel like Articuno. Okay, Articuno, but Articuno. Can we please like change? Can we change Pokemon names to like include cunt in it? Already over this song. Which Pokemon are you? Hi, you're very behind, but I'm great, just like you. Oh, thank you very much, Pokebob. Thank you for answering me, even though I'm very behind. Okay. Remember push-ups? How are your allergies today? No GIMP mask. I see my I don't have allergies. I don't know what those are. Never heard of such a thing. Like, is that a new word? Is that French or something? Is it like French root? Never heard of such a thing. I am so well and mentally stable today. Pop, pop, pop. No cut GIMP mask. Isn't GIMP like a software? GIMP? I'm so fucked on this typing test. GIMP? Isn't that like a photo editor? Yeah, it's a photo editor. Why do people call it a GIMP mask? I hate this song. Feel like I've seen all the media. Gotta go. Zeech is a bitch. Frost bitch. Whose mom are we talking about? Your mama. My mom's not homophobic. Your mom's a fucking lesbian, bro. I'm your mommy. No, but his mom's actually a lesbian. Legend, big boss. Okay, but did you split your corn? Exploding corn! I've been waiting for this fucking moment. I've been eating. Are you still here? Can we get a shout to exploding corn? Are you still fucking here? Listen, I have been eating so much fucking corn soup, and I mentioned this, actually, if you go check the VOD, I mentioned I wish exploding corn was here, because I was talking about how much corn soup I've been eating, and like, I've been shitting so much fucking corn, it's like, out my ass, so yes, I have been exploding corn. I've been drinking a lot of corn juice and eating a lot of corn. I hope you're happy. Are we coming out for real? I want to do coming out stories. Do you split your corn? No allergies here. Nina, Emmy, Shoney's threesome. I'm down. And see a try have an allergic reaction. My mom's bi, so it'd be weird if she was homophobic. You could be gay and homophobic, just like me. I'm like really homophobic on stream, you know? Homophobia. That keyboard would have the illness of being straight. Oh my god. Insty's critical grading. Insty's criticism of this keyboard is that it's too straight. Being straight is toxic, true. Altair split personality disorder. I do like that split. You like the split. You like being split. Kamikita, welcome in. How are you? Welcome, welcome, Kamikita. Shout out to Kamikita. I saw Mother's Facebook that she's bi. She never really came out. Don't expect me to be straight. Well, I wrote it on my blog in my teens. I was bi pan. My mom just was like, oh. Your style shows that I'm LGBTQA. You're LGBT? I didn't know that. I couldn't tell at all based on how you dress. You know, not at all. Anyway, with her pedophile husband, oh my god, she married, oh my god. Hands are being thrown. Let's see. Oh shit, goalpost moved. I'ma finger blast my keyboard. Mode will be the only vendor. Imagine Mode at the Mode meetup having other vendors at the Mode meetup. Anyway, what are we doing? Big balls, blow the whistle. Finger blast? We're finger blasting. Instead of saying it with their chest, say it with their cunt. Exactly. Gotta cunt blast. Cunt punt. You gotta cunt punt those bitches. She knows Reggie Rock? Of course I know Reggie Rock. I'm with the times. I'm with the crowd. I'm with the kids. It's a Kikuza blackface Pokemon. Yeah, that's the Pokemon. There's a band in Austin called Kunto. I love that. I love Kunto. But anyway, can we get a shout out to Jason ATXDs? There's two Jasons in here. I get really confused between my Jasons, you know? They're both in my DMs, you know? I'm just kidding. They're not. I'm so fucking stupid. I've been looking for my wallet for the last few days, and just now, it's the washing machine. Rest in peace, your fucking wallet. I hope it's not leather. Get fucked. Sound keck displeases corn. Let it really do be exploding a horn. Listen, you tell me to explode my corn and I explode it. Okay, typing test time. Wait, I'm almost caught up, but typing test time. Typing test time, is that okay? And then we're gonna take a picture of me gawking this keyboard. Double gawking. Oh, the Jasons are here. The Jasons are here. I don't know which one to pick. Can we do like a poll for who's superior? No, I'm just kidding. That'd be mean. That'd be mean. Today I told my partner about my toilet visit being split in the public lighting. He was like, oh, don't you need to tell each other everything's free speech is dead. Free speech is dead. Insty killed free speech. Period. Okay, anyway. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna fuck this up. Where's P? Is this P? That's not even P. This is P. Is this P? Oh god, okay. Is this N? I feel like this is very wrong. I feel like this is wrong. god, this is invalid. This is not even valid. This shit is not even fucking valid, bro. I would probably get the same amount on my typing test if I had this fucking keyboard inverted. Gotta tilt them inward like it's inverted. Okay, we gotta do it like this. I wanna do it again. Can I do it again? Someone has to pay it out. Literally all of these words are wrong. $22. I somehow did worse, and it's not valid. I'm fucked. I'm fucked, mate. I'm fucked. What if I did it like this? What if it touched each other? What if our keyboards touched? Does it sound good? Do you guys like it? I got forced out of the closet, got home from work. My parents find gay pride in my room. They laid all down to become fun of me. They forced me to tell them. Are they homophobic? Are your parents homophobic? We need to know. Don't go Jason Waterfalls. Anyway. Resonance! Cousin Fat. What did you call me? You're not wrong. I'm just kidding. I'm plus sized. Hello, cousin plus sized. You guys like this? Are you guys into it? Don't go Jason Waterfalls. Okay. There you go. There it is. The Altair. Do you guys like it? Can you guys tell me if you like it? Do you guys have questions? Can you guys like ask me questions about this keyboard? I'm sick of not being taken seriously as a keyboard content creator. Like, I want you guys to take me seriously. Like, I may be a woman, but like, I know some things, okay? I know about keyboards despite me being a woman, okay? Please stick to rivers and lakes. You may not like it, but it's what peak keyboard layout, Jesus Christ. Tony is here, hello! Welcome in, Tony. Oh, I gotta use my actual normal keyboard to do the payout. Okay, here we go. This is Insty, like Insty loves this. This is his fucking favorite. Yeah, Insty loves it. Yeah, shove it down his throat, shove it up his ass. He loves it. This is his favorite keyboard layout. Split, Ergo, and HHKB. Okay. Okay, wait, I gotta do the prediction. Choose outcome 34 words per minute less. Congratulations to all the doubters. I hate you guys. Skill issue, money, please. Why is it so slow? Excuse me, Avo. You don't come in here and try to be racist towards me, okay? My mom is Chinese woman from India that married a white Republican. Oh, God. Your mom is a Chinese woman that married a white Republican. I'm not surprised, okay? I'm not surprised. Asiana Grande, can we get a shout out for Tony? We haven't had a hat redeem in a while. Okay, here. Asiana Grande for you, okay? A smidge more homophobic. Why does the smaller one cost more? The smaller one costs less, doesn't it? Oh God, it's not connected. Fuck. Asiana! How's Asiana doing? Anyone following Ariana Grande? What race is she now? I wanna know. Did she change her race again? Or is she still like Asian? Okay, what is she? Canon keys, Altair X. So this is what it looks like. Oh God, no, that's not it. Okay. So the Altair X, see, this is what I'm fucking confused because the X is the smaller one, actually. The X is small. Feel like a femme queen. Feel like a femme low-key. I like it aesthetically. I really like it aesthetically, too. It's really clean. It's very on point for his design language. You know, look at me using big words. Design. Why is it broken like that, Smokey? Is it personal or commission or what's it called? This is Canon Key sent this to me. It's not, I guess, commission or whatever. You know more about keyboards than Alex and Diego combined. Yes, I know more. I know so much more. I can really bring like a feminine touch to keyboards, you know? I bring like a little feminine touch, you know? You missed push-ups. Yes, you did. You gotta check the VOD, cunty. Thank you for the doubters. Avo comes everywhere. Is your mom my mom? Is your mom my mom? Harry, you know, too expensive. Why would you not? She's the husband stealing race. Turning ginger? Is ginger a race? Is being ginger a race? Vaguely south adjacent. They changed it. Oh, wait. Altair is the big one. Altair X is a small one. Can you get that right? Okay. None of it's big brain in this year. I'm the biggest brain, okay? We're finally caught up on chat. Thank God. Thank the Lord. All right, we're gonna take pictures. We're caught up after an hour and a half. Look at this. Should I like wear? Oh, fuck. I kind of want to like, I'm using like literally using a solder wire thing, okay? All right. Should I wear it around my neck? Like boxing gloves? Am I gonna break this? Like key bra? Can this be like a key bra? Someone make a key bra? All right, here. Can I have this choke me? There. Oh my God, this kind of is cunty. Like having it as like a choker. It's kind of cunty, like. You should hang yourself with it. There you go. And also, of course, we gotta redo the gawk. There you go. You didn't see? You can't just say that. There you go. Autoerotic. Jesus Christ. Anyway, what if this is our 13th reason? You know, you know what? I love this. You know, like, honestly, as a woman, as a queer Asian female, lesbian, cisgender, immigrant, ESL student, I love this keyboard. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. You know, I think really brings a feminine touch. There you go. Crew buy ends on June 3rd. Stop trying to make it happen. It's cunty. It's cunty. Okay, Insty. I know you hate things that are... I know you hate happiness and joy, but like, it's happening, okay? Anyway. Yes. Product page. Okay. These are the Haimu Pastel Sand Linears. We love it. We love to see it. Okay. Starting at 300 for this. You know, there's some add-ons. Look at this. You can put your fucking coffee. Listen. You can put this in between someone's thighs and their dick you can just like, you know, like that's what I'm thinking of. Anyway, look at this. You can just put your coffee right in here. You know, you don't want to spill it. I was honorary Asian. You're honorary Asian. Ollie London, honey. Ollie London, Ollie phobia. Anyway, that guy Starsky, can we get a shout out to Starsky? We're just about to raid out. Sippy sip ass cup motherfucker. The possibilities are endless here, okay? They're endless, okay? Bam, bam, bam. Glory, yes, glory hole, yes. Glory hole Insta, you can use this for your glory holes. When you visit the saunas, you can use this as for your glory hole, exactly. Anyway, shout out to Starsky. We're gonna raid out, we're done. I'm not a TERF. Are you a TERF? I believe it. Unless just unified school district through my brother in ESL. We're both native English speakers. I was thrown in ESL. I was thrown. Throw me around, daddy. Okay, anyway, we're done with stream. Are you guys happy? Body shop place is called Glory Hole Body Piercing. I love that. Glory Hole Body Piercing. There you go. This is the Altair. Okay, we love it. Okay, anyway, we are gonna be building the Pavlov 65 from KBD fans on Thursday at 6:30. Okay, gonna be great, gonna be fun, gonna be lovely. You know, gonna be just everything you ever wished for. Only 314 times. Great stream, loved every second. Thank you, Starsky. I appreciate it. Thank you all so much for the follows and the resubs. Thank you. Thank you, Mohuba, for the gifties. Thank you, No Feedback, for the gifties. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. We're gonna see who's on. Okay, we have to raid Areola studies. We gotta raid Areola studies, okay? Let's raid. It's Areola's 1-year affiliate-versary. Stream is kind of lead, need it longer. I'm sorry, I'm mid. I'm a floppé. I'm literally a floppé. Areola studies. Show me your boot. Oh my god, it's her birthday. We gotta do a nice raid match. Thank you for stream. Thank you for exploding a court. How is this a short stream? It's an hour and 42 minutes. All right, rating Areola studies. Happy B-Day, Areola. Okay? Our time together is so short. We are so short. Alec built most of it. Built what? What did he build? All right, here. Happy. Oh god, it's not. How can you build our relationship? Oh wait, I spelled this wrong. Happy B-Day, Areola. There you go. Oh god, raid. Oh god, tomb raid. There you go. There you go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Raid message, raid message, raid message, raid message, raid message. Happy B-Day, Areola. Thank you all so much for being here. I'll see you all on Thursday. Enjoy Areola's stream, okay? She loves titties. Thank you, Milk. Thank you, Jason. Thank you all besties for being here. I'll see y'all on Thursday. Enjoy your night, okay? I hope you got a lot of gawks, okay? Bye-bye. Bye.